thank you. Everybody still awake? We still all on board on this poem? So yeah, the first poem I did was comedic. It was funny, I guess. And I do like to do a lot of funny poems, because I do improv comedy. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take off my sweatshirt. This is why. I'm not wearing anything with short sleeves, and it's kind of chilly, so this is going to make me go faster, because I don't want to be on stage. I know, right? And so this, I'm going to just start right into it. I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not going to do all funny poems, so please don't be surprised if I'm all of a sudden sad. But this poem is for not necessarily my daughter, but for the folks around her. To the boys who may one day date my daughter. I have been waiting for you. Since before her birth, since before my spark took hold and ignited the fire in her mother's belly, I have been training to kill you. Yeah! When you took your first steps, I was preparing to make it so you never walked again. When you were playing at war, I was perfecting headshots. You can't catch up at this point. And when you first see my daughter and fall in love with the look that she sends over her shoulder, her crescent moon eyes framing her laughing smile, you are going to want to talk to her. And when the hours pass by like sprinters during that first timeless conversation, you will also know, with a deep and impending sense of dread, that you are going to have to talk to me when you first come to my home and see the bone carving over my threshold. Try not to imagine your own femurs so expertly carved. Pay no attention to my ample crawl space, my room with the rubber mat and a drain. Be careful to only approach me with love. For my daughter, see, I have been seeding her childhood with taproot hugs to weed out indifference and apathy. There will be no daddy issues for your teenage talons to latch upon if you break her heart. I will hear it snap with the ear I pressed against her mother's belly. The elbow I cradled her head will send a message to my fist. My cheeks are attuned to her lips. I will know if they tremble. I have taught her that a man should never hit a woman. Yeah. Now, her mother would like to add that you really should never hit anybody, but I have taught her that a man should never hit a woman. Consider my genes a mark of Cain. You will suffer 7 times whatever you do to her, and she will not keep your secret. You can't make fire feel afraid. Yeah. I have been teaching her love all of her life, and all that I ask is that you continue the lesson. Love her. Befriend her, protect her, be there when I can't, and when my body gives up to the grave, let the grin that eternity carves into my face be a reflection of the peace that your love brings to her, and we should get along just fine. Addendum. To the girls who may one day date my daughter. My wife is a better shot than I am. My daughter's 12 and she's like totally boy crazy, of course, and so like I'll do that poem. She's like, yeah, I really like that poem, but you know, Dad, I'm not gay, and I'm like, yeah, I love you anyway. That's all right. It's all good. But this next poem is actually it's like my daughter's day. So this is my daughter's favorite poem. So I did this at finals. We had our finals in Salt Lake City, and she came and saw me, and I was like, oh, my daughter, she's gonna hear me swear. Again. And not her. So I was like, you know what? You're the third round. Like basically, we had the team made, and I made the team, and I was like, you know, I'm just gonna do this because this is fun. Little girls, green sashes lined with patches, smiles broken by baby teeth still dangling from gum threads, whistling lisp siren songs of. Would you like to buy some Girl Scout cookies? Yeah. Each box of heaven color-coded so my completionist OCD gnaws at the back of my brainstem with Pokemon anthems. Gotta catch 'em all. Good Lord. I don't even like shortbread. The trefoils wink iconically at me, looking like America and swing set crushes. The lemon chalet creams whisper French into my ear, making zest a word I want to work into my wedding vows. The Samoas are a good idea on paper, chocolate and caramel, but the coconut tells a racist joke down the back of my throat. Blah. It tastes like failed sitcoms, little playground pushers, smiles sweeter than diabetes. The tag-alongs are an afterthought. Ironically, just tagging along with the rest of the order. The dulce de leches are always a regret. Dry chalk cookies. Surely your name translates into needs more milk. The do-si-dos fold their arms sandwiching peanut butter like some sort of bizarro Oreo. Me hate you so much. Oh, nom, 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 nom. She twists the last knife in like it'll earn her a merit badge. The Thin Mints. Dear God, the Thin Mints. Majestic freezer cookie. Your serving size comes in sleeves. With it I can dive into your abundance, swimming through you, praying for cookie gills. Build obsidian statues in your honor. Praise be. I am too Catholic. I receive you like a wafer on the tongue. Couple you with wine, make you a mighty maid of Merlot. You turn the barren witches of my freezers green with boxes that can barely contain your glory. It takes weeks for my order to arrive. 3 troops of little girls need to be called in to deliver the shipment. I pay with a banknote and a promise of my firstborn child. I pray that it is not a little girl. Right, Girl Scout cookies. I mean, like, who does not have... my freezer is full right now. And I'm, like, on a diet right now, so I'm like, but I gotta have that. And I'm like, I got all this Merlot, which is a magical combination. This next poem. So you know, I was on the Twitterverse, and if you guys pay attention, in the first poem, there was a line that I said, and we talked about what you should be able to do in front of your lover, in front of your wife or husband or spouse, what have you. And I'm like, you know, there really shouldn't be anything. You gotta love the whole person. And so this is a love poem to my wife. I suppose you wonder what we're doing here, under this comforter. Well, the truth is, darling, I am about to fart. Now, before you get angry or flail madly or hold your breath, just hear me out. Now, I'm not going to pretend like this is going to be a walk in the rose garden. I'm no Sarah Palin. This is going to stink. It might smell like stale popcorn salted in asparagus or a cabbage brownie or something Velcro and foul that clings to your pant leg like trash juice. I'm really not a good judge of where these things are going to go. They call this the love test, Dutch oven, hotboxing. This is how you know you have something special. It is not how we kiss and fall into each other's lips, what electricity conducts from our fingertips into each other's body, what ancient languages we blurred out as we climax together simultaneously. A relationship's best moments are fleeting flashes of perfect, the untenable hold of joy. This is about those less than ideal moments, the times when we are inadvertently human, a loosened booger, trapdoor opening and closing with every breath, finding underwear in a trash can and we don't ask why, conversations on a toilet. If you can't love me in this awkward space, just live in this filthy, stinky moment. What are you gonna do when it really gets bad? Can you still love me? Throwing up every hour. My bedside table, a heap of prescription bottles, my pillow thatched with what little hair I have left to give. Can you still love me, showering me in a chair, wiping my ass as I sob I'm sorry at you, throwing my underwear into a trash can without saying a word? Can you still love me when I struggle to recognize you, call our son by my brother's name, scream when I look into the mirror? My stroke-addled face may hang like a sheet on a branch, wrinkled and absent of cohesion. Just know that there are rings inside of me that are burned and black with the memory of you that I would carve away the bark of me to get at. We may not always be able to slow dance when our wedding song sneaks onto the radio. And we might not agree about how the thermostat is set. And there may come a day when we are planning my funeral and I insist on being buried in the t-shirt that says insert wooden stake here over the heart. And I hope you will shake your head and do it anyway.
I want one.
Like I said, I'm not a good judge of where these things are gonna go. I hope that you will always love me as I will you in those difficult times. Like this one. Where we are under a comforter. And I am about to... Is that you? Wow. Is it weird for me to say how much I love you in this moment for that? I hope that you guys have enjoyed the comedy portion of this evening. So I'm about to go to the sadder portion of this evening. I know, right? I'm Catholic. I do a lot of Bible study stuff, and we were doing this one thing, and this story just made me think of, wait a minute, hold on a second, let's put the brakes on. This sounds like this person should be mad or something. So this is called a persona poem, and this is where you kind of take on the persona of a character and try to tell their story through that person. Upon learning that his friend Lazarus had died, Jesus wept. Jesus wept. That is what is written, that you wept for me. Do you remember when my sisters first told you that I lay dying in the town of Bethany, convulsing and riddled with sweat? You could spit sight into the blind, cause lepers' sores to fall off their skin like mud flakes. You were a healer and our friend. We had no reason to believe that you wouldn't come. But you didn't. You just waited. Do you know that I cursed you with my final breath? I was so hurt, so scared, but when this house of flesh collapsed, my soul, it flew, and you were right about heaven's majesty, the sights, the sounds, reunited with my ancestors, my mother and father, paradise as you preached it. I felt so blessed. Eventually, you did come to Bethany, and you knew that I was dead. Jesus wept. That is what is written, that you wept for me. You wept despite all your talk of the next life, of the eternal kingdom of your Father. Was it that you couldn't bear my absence? Did my sister's tears make your heart grow heavy? I still remember the sound of your voice calling my name. Lazarus, rise! You yanked my spark back into the spent woodpile to keep me from ash and dust. I didn't know your reasons. I just assumed that your grief had made you selfish. I prayed you hadn't heard my final breath's curse. My body had laid in the grave for 4 days, rotting. I still carry that corpse's stench, that spoiled meat. 4 days. Why did you wait so long? You could have come sooner. You could have healed me, but you had a plan that you kept close. Secret. You're so like your father. It wasn't until you took the stage on Golgotha that I finally put it all together. I was just a dress rehearsal, wasn't I, before you took your final prestige? You ripped me out of paradise to practice a magic trick, and this time, I wept. I wonder what it was that you saw in me after I came back from 4 days of death that made you decide you had better only try for 3. So, let's see. So this is a newer poem. Everybody, you know, it's funny. Like different venues are like, you say like, I've got a new poem. They go, no shit. And then like different ones, you say like, oh, this is an old poem. They go, oh shit. And then you go, well, this is a piece that I haven't memorized yet. Alzheimer's shit. I don't know. And so. This is a piece that started off like a lot. It's first life. I think. Who knows the Clute here? Who knows the Clute? So the Clute like did this like an early version of this as a cover slam and like won it, and it was funnier then, but it's not so funny now. How to eat a panda? What? Call him by name. Make loving cooing noises. Lure him into a pen. Close the gate. Smile. Shoot him in the head. Be surprised at the sound that he makes, a sigh like a prayer, less a whimper than an interrupted conversation. Tie his heels and winch him up, slice his neck. Wait. Gaze into his eyes to pass the time. Whisper his name like a soft chant, a rosary. Call his tears leaking. Lower the spent carcass. Use the skinning knife. Wear the fur like a lost boy. Crow. Think a happy thought. Take off the fur. Call it fur. Disembowel it carefully. Remove the head. Gaze into its eyes one last time and try not to recognize it. Section the meat. Call it meat. Find the choicest cut. Call it ribeye, porterhouse, flank. Choose a cut. Place it on the grill. Season it. Make it something else. Make it familiar. Call your tears something in my eye. Put the cooked meat on a plate. Place something green next to it, something that looks alive. Call this metaphor. Don't call this Panda. Don't call this the end of an abusive friendship. Pretend that you don't have any wounds. Pretend that he never tried to kill you, that it is just meat. Cut it. Don't call this coping. Concentrate. This doesn't hurt. Take a bite. This doesn't hurt. Forgetting something horrifying was ever beautiful. Keep biting, chewing, swallowing, feel full. Call this satisfied. Imagine how much easier this would be if you had never loved him. Thanks. You know what? I think we need to change this up a bit, though.
Put on the nose.
So this is a poem called Girls Don't Poop. I'm going to read this from my chapter book. My chapter books are for sale. If you come up to me and ask me for one, I will give you one, and then you will give me currency, and we will call that fair trade.
Yay! America.
I forgot my glasses, so I will have to read this from memory. I'd always thought of girls as magical things, proper porcelain, built mostly for crushes, constantly smelling of jasmine and Elmer's glue, leaving a blazing trail of sparkles wherever they went. Now, the girls I knew in elementary school liked to be chased, screamed bloody murder as we pounded the pavement, cried foul if you caught them too hard, knew the magic kicking spot to make you let go. All of them could write in cursive, big looping letters, even with hearts everywhere, even the tomboys, and I knew that they had to pee. They were always shouting about it, complaining about it if they laughed too hard, announcing the need as they raised their hand for hall passes. I never thought to wonder if girls pooped. It just didn't seem natural, like a unicorn throwing up or a Care Bear swearing. Thanks a lot, 2 girls, 1 cup.
Sorry.
You have to go?
Yeah, that's the end of the poem. It's a 2-minute poop joke. You guys can applaud that if you really have no